Today's video is sponsored by AG1. So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. We are outdoors this morning. We are headed out in the woods here to the little clearing project. We had some rain this morning from about 4 a.m. to about 7. But we're gonna see if we can't get this fire stoked up again out here. I just spotted a deer over here to the right, checking me out. It's actually a fawn, I think. Yeah, it's a little fawn. I won't bother you. Hope its mom doesn't bother me. So I had a pretty good day out here yesterday. Got a lot done in not a whole lot of time, actually. Yeah, almost everything's burn up. What we're gonna do is kind of stir this up a little bit, tuck everything back into the center, and we should be able to get it going. All right, I gathered up some dead stuff there. It was pretty dry. Got a little bit of flame going there. I think it'll get going here. I just really don't have that much more fuel, you know, to put on it. I'm gonna be left with a bunch of stumps. But maybe this afternoon, if it dries up a little bit, I'll bring the skid loader out here with the grapple, start gathering up all these stumps. What I didn't burn, I'm gonna take out that way, and right over the edge of the hill, I'll put all those stumps, kind of a brush pile on top of it, and just like, you know, piles of stuff that's mixed in with the topsoil and roots, things like that. And we'll make a big pile right over the hill there. Then in about 10 years, if I need some really good topsoil, that will be the place to get it. That stuff will all kind of break down and rot, and should work out all right. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. We've got some action here now. Oh yeah. We'll come back later on once it dries up a bit and get back to work. Earlier, I mentioned that today's video was sponsored by AG1, and I want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. AG1 is a daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health through a science-driven formulation of micronutrients, phytonutrients, and essential symbiotics. AG1 supports the brain, the gut, and the immune system. It's made up of 75 high-quality ingredients carefully curated to nourish all the body systems holistically. I started to drink AG1 a couple years ago when I was looking for something to help with my nutrition. You know, I'm not getting any younger. I was looking for something specifically to help with immune support because I don't like getting sick, and focus and energy because I don't like getting tired either. AG1 has me covered on all that, plus a whole lot more. Another great thing about AG1, it is a effortless daily habit that's very easy to get into. 1 scoop or travel pack of AG1, 8 ounces of water every day, that's it. AG1 combines 9 health products working together as one, replacing your multivitamin, multiminerals, pre and probiotics, immunity support, and more. Go to drinkag1.com/outdoorswiththemorgans to get started on your order. AG1 is going to give my community a free 1-year supply of AG Vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. I'm back out here at the little clearing job. I just took down 2 little maples, put the tops on the pile. I think they'll get going. I'm not sure, but that should light up here in a little bit. It is starting to rain right now, but I think we're going to take this opportunity to talk about digging out stumps. I think I've come up with 5 different tips as far as digging stumps, and the first one is by far the most important, at least in my opinion. And that is, don't be an idiot.
Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing.
If everyone would follow those words of wisdom right there, 90% of the problems in the world would just go away. Now, when I say don't be an idiot, what I mean is this. I've seen videos of people, you know, like with a little Kubota BX, and even a stump this size right here. That's about a 7-inch maple. You know, they're ramming them with their front bucket, or they've got a little grapple on it. Stumps are difficult to get out of the ground, and you just have to go slow and steady and be kind of methodical about it, and no ramming or jerking or anything like that. All you're going to do is break stuff. So number 1, don't be an idiot. Number 2, get to know your opponent. You know, try to figure out what you're up against. You know, like this machine right here, 13,000 pound excavator. This little stump right here, not going to be any trouble at all. But you want to kind of walk around the stump, see where the roots are. You know, I can see one coming out from this side here. I can see one going out over that direction. Same with this bigger stump right here. Now these maples, you know, each tree species, they kind of act a little bit differently. These maples have tons and tons of small roots. This will pull out a huge root ball, but same thing, get to know the stump. I see I got a big one coming out right here, one coming out right there, one over there. You know, once you get an idea what you're up against, you need to move on to number 3. Number 3 is come up with a plan. And when I say come up with a plan, you know, there's actually a lot involved with that. Number 1, like, what's your approach? If you're using an excavator like that, you know, you want to have your blade in the front. If the blade was in the back and you start pulling on even this little stump right here, the back of the machine's going to be coming up in the air. You're going to be bouncing around. Also, you don't want to be pulling on them over to the side. I mean, unless they're real small, but this is a good approach right here. So like my plan for this stump right here, I've got one root, big one I can see back here in the back, and I think another one in here. It's not going to be a big deal. I'll kind of test the waters a little bit first. I'll just kind of pull on it right here, see how much it's moving. If it doesn't come out, I'll start working the roots. But I'm sitting in the right position, and this kind of applies to anything that you're using. If you're using a backhoe on a tractor, something like that, wherever your machine is most powerful and most stable, that's how you want to be sitting. Number 4, having some leverage is your friend. Matter of fact, it's pretty easy to push trees over. The only reason I don't do that, I'm saving the firewood poles out of them, and I just don't want to smash things up. But you know, if you push the tree over, you're using all that leverage and the weight on the top of the tree to help get that stump out. But if you don't do that, at least cut them off a couple feet out of the ground like this. That makes all the difference in the world. If this was cut off flush, it would be much more difficult. Let's dig this little one out right here, and then we'll talk about number 5. All right, that one was easy peasy. It was sitting somewhere right in there. The other thing I try to do is get some level of compaction back in the stump hole. Like this is just going to be like a meadow out here. We'll probably plant some fruit trees. It's not like I'm building a road over top of it. If you're going to build a driveway over top of that, you're going to dig that out, get your topsoil out of there, get some good material in there, and get some good compaction. But that's the other thing I try to do. Get some decent compaction back in the stump hole. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of soft spots everywhere when it rains. Now, this stump right here, this is a whole different animal than the one that I just dug out. That one was probably 7-8 inches in diameter, maybe not even that. This one right here is probably 15 or 16 inches. Now, even though it is double the size, it's going to take way longer than double the time as it did to take that one out. Which brings me to number 5, be patient. This stump, it took 60 or 70 years to get to that point right there. Don't expect to get it out of the ground in 3 or 4 minutes. It's going to take some time. All right, so as I approach this stump here, number 1, I'm not going to do anything stupid. Number 2, I'm going to get to know the tree a little bit. It's a maple. They're pretty difficult to get out of the ground. I'm going to look for these roots right here, there, over there. I'm going to start off, this is my plan of attack from where I'm sitting right there. I'll start pulling on this root somewhere over in here. If I can't get it without exerting tons of force, I'll just move out a little bit. Once I bust some of these roots up, I'll give it a little test pull. Now, I'll probably have to move the machine and get over to this side right here and break any roots that are on this side over here. So that's kind of my plan of attack on this one. All right, so that stump took me 13 minutes, which isn't too bad at all. Like I said, considering it's been growing for 60 or 70 years. And out of that 13 minutes, probably only took about 5 or 6 minutes to get it out of the ground. Then I spent the rest of the time picking out the roots and getting it backfilled and getting some compaction. But yeah, not too shabby. Well, my fire is trying to get going. But anyway, to review what we talked about there, as far as digging stumps, number 1, don't be an idiot. Number 2, get to know your opponent and what you're up against. Number 3, come up with a plan. Look for those roots, kind of test the waters a little bit. Number 4, leverage, like I said, is your friend. Leave those stumps up. And number 5, just patience. Take your time. I know it gets frustrating because you want to get it done immediately, but some things just take a little bit of time. Now, we didn't even talk about grinding stumps, which is a subject for another day, but that's not a bad way to go either. One thing I like about digging these stumps out, though, is I get the majority of the roots out with the stump. A lot of times when people grind stumps, they just kind of get the middle out, and you've got those roots. Sometimes they go out 10, 12 feet, and then you come out here, you know, a year from now with a tiller trying to till it up and you're hitting all those roots. There's still going to be roots in here. My opinion, I think you're going to get a few less if you dig the stump out and it's gone. So I'm kind of working my way this direction towards the mini cabin. I don't know if you can see it. I cannot believe that thing is still standing. There are trees down all around it, but it appears in that windstorm that it didn't get hurt. But this one here is quite a mess. We got a maple wedged in between this cherry. Cherries broke off there. There's another big cherry down, laying on top of that maple. A little cherry beside it. Another cherry below it. Another maple and a cherry down that way. But yeah, once I get all this cleaned up in here, I'll kind of just expand this way a little bit, and I'll have a long meadow here, probably about 150 yards long, 100 yards wide, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, the sun's coming out, but I hear thunder off in the distance, and we are going to wrap this video up. I appreciate y'all being here. I also want to thank AG1 for sponsoring today's video. I will catch you on the next one.